Sure. Good morning. Welcome back to 1160 a.m. KBDT News Talk Sports. Again, see, you get that behind-the-scenes whisper campaign going. How exciting is that? Pretty exciting to me. That's all I can say. News, analysis, and commentary. Don't forget to tune in to the Wells Report with John David Wells from 2 to 5 p.m. It is currently 59 degrees outside. It is 8:35 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs today. High of 68. Low tonight is 55 with some rain. So, and bring the rain. I'm tired of the humidity. How can it be 70 degrees and I'm dying already? And it's only March. Really? Help a fella out. Kill the bugs off. Bring the snow. That's all I got to say. Let's keep it with that. All right. Today is Tuesday. It is the mental health moment. Very excited to have with us to my left, Patty Giolet. Good morning, Patty.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Giolet.
Giola.
I know, but I like saying like, I don't know why.
La la la.
La la la. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
I take more than a day to celebrate my birthday.
It should be a month-long celebration.
It is for me.
At least a month.
Yeah.
At least a month.
When I was in
Absolutely.
college, I did that.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
How'd it work out for
It
you?
was awesome. I loved it. It was a month I forgot every year.
Oh, I don't want to go there with that. We'll leave that one
You
alone.
probably shouldn't go there.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. But no, Patty, so happy birthday. Patty's with the Something for Kelly Foundation. So very excited to have Patty with us. We've got Steve Dunn with us with the Morgan Foundation. Good morning, Steve Dunn.
Good evening, JP.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's
Evening.
evening sometime.
Absolutely.
Somewhere, sometime, it's good evening. I agree with you. I say good morning all day, so it works out for me. But we've got somebody special to my right today.
John, yes, we do. But before we go into that, I'd like to make a little shout out here. This past week, there was a very significant award that was presented to a very dear friend of mine. The Texas Association of Truancy Dropout Prevention gave a Lifetime Achievement Award to our own Judge John Payton. JP, we are so proud of you.
Well, thank you, Steve Dunn. I didn't expect that. This isn't about me. It's about you.
Well, it's about our kids,
I
and
feel like
it's,
Toby
it's,
Keith or something.
exactly. It's about those who need help. So that's why we are thrilled to have our guest here today. Gentlemen, I got to know this past year and have come to respect his work so much. We have Todd Orme from the Waterford Counseling. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Well, we're partying. We're living the lifestyle.
It is the dream.
It is the dream.
It's the dream.
You know, Todd, you've also done some work with Dallas Behavioral Health Network as well.
I have. I've done a lot of work with that hospital. It's a mental health hospital in DeSoto. Wonderful 118-bed facility. We start with kids age 5 and up, go to geriatrics as well. And, boy, it serves the Metroplex like I've never seen. Great clinicians, great doctors, wonderful program.
So during the daytime, you're in there working with mental health.
I am.
And then at night on your free time,
I have free time.
you're out working with kids in IOP. You're out
I
working
am.
with adults in IOP and making that happen as well with Waterford Counseling.
I am. It's Waterford Counseling is up in Frisco. It's a great little program. We work with kids start at 13, and we do work with adults on the weekend. What makes us really unique is our focus on substance use and mental health. It's a combination issue. As you all know, substance use is often tied into a mental health disorder like depression or anxiety, or even people who struggle with bipolar disorder. And people self-medicate. They want to feel good, and they oftentimes reach for substances, and we know that effect, don't we?
Oh, don't we?
Absolutely. So Todd, how do you differentiate between the two? How do you address them both at the same time, or do you try to focus on the one that's predominant and then go from there?
Boy, Steve, that's a great question. It's individually. You have to start out with licensed therapists, people with minimally a master's degree, people who can diagnose. And you often ask a lot of questions. You have to understand what's leading the issue here. Is the depression leading the drug use? Is the drug use leading the depression? It's often intertwined, and it really takes a skilled therapist to intervene and determine the correct course of treatment.
Todd, how often do you find that the patient is actually not being truthful, and so it makes the task even harder? I guess that's my answer. Huh?
Boy, Patty, you set me up on that one. Truthful, that's a relative concept when treatment. People are often afraid to disclose their use. They're ashamed. There's a lot of guilt and shame in dealing with substance use and mental health, which is unfortunate because until you get to the bottom line, what I tell most people is we deal with teenagers and they use marijuana to self-medicate. I've asked groups, how many of you kids use at school? And it's almost 100% kids are using at school. Yeah. And when I ask what their motivation is, it's like, well, I want to check out. I don't want to feel pain anymore. I don't want to feel. And that's what these kids are doing in schools is they're checking out, which means there's a deeper problem, whether it's with mental health or at home. And that's what we have to get to.
So they're smoking pot in school during school time?
Or dabbing in school, yeah. Dabs.
Okay, so I would think dab would be a lot easier because it's easier to hide. There's not quite the telltale signs of that. Is that correct?
There's still some smell to it. There's still some steam. There's still some vapor. I mean, if you look really close. But these kids use it with reckless abandon. They go into the bathrooms, into the stall. They'll even smoke, or they use these cartridges right in the classroom when the teachers aren't looking. I mean, it's they put on a video, turn the lights off, and here comes the steam.
Okay, so what are schools doing to address this?
They're really struggling. I mean, these teachers, these administrators, they really do care about these kids, but it's an epidemic. I mean, these kids are using every chance they get. I mean, the way it works, if a kid gets caught with a dab pen, and to the audience, a dab pen is a delivery mechanism to bring a high concentrate of THC into the body, where a normal joint or reefer, Kush, is about 20% THC. These dab pens are over 90%. So instead of hitting one, you're hitting 5, and so they get high really quick, and it's a sustained high over a longer period. So these kids are sitting in school pretty messed up, not paying attention, and they're just flying around school. They're impaired. That's really what's going on.
Now, I assume that a dab pen, they aren't free.
No, you can get them on Amazon for $15. And then they buy the cartridges from their dealers.
Okay, so we've got kids in high school. Where does the money come from to feed the habit?
Okay, it's real simple. Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm hungry. Can I get some money for Taco Bell? Yeah, sure. Here's $20. Okay, so they spend $20 on tacos, and they take the other $20 and they buy weed. That's how it works. More creative kids who have a stronger habit will steal and deal. So that's where the money comes from. Money starts missing from mom's purse, out of the kids' piggy banks. The kids are innovative. They know how to get money.
Is there a profile for people who are most at risk for this kind of behavior?
I would generally say, yeah, there is, but now, no. I think the large majority of kids it's ingrained in this population of kids. They don't think weed's tough. They don't think it hurts them. It's organic. It's not going to hurt their brains. And quite frankly, they're young. The health is not important to them. They don't really care.
Yeah,
and it's across all economic standards. I mean, it's everything. Rich, poor, black, white, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. A lot of kids are using drugs. They graduate from weed and from dabs up to Xanax and acid, and we're seeing a resurgence of cocaine. That's what's happening.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
So what are some signs that moms and dads can look for? What should they be looking for?
Ideally, in the initial stages with kids, they look for some things like isolation. Kids start spending more time in the rooms. They shut the doors. They start changing friendship circles. Instead of playing sports, they drop out of activities that they love. Like they quit playing sports, they quit cheerleading, they quit going to youth groups. All of a sudden, these kids get to a situation where they start making new friends, and mom and dad don't know anything about these new friends. Start hanging out late at night, and they start acting a little paranoid. Weed creates paranoia with kids. That's a telltale sign.
This behavior is a recurring theme that we're hearing from all of our other mental health experts.
Absolutely. It's a far cry, really, when it comes down to it. These kids want help, but they don't know they want help. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
They want to come back to the times they're happy, when the parents aren't on their tails and they're yelling at them and mom and dad are being such jerks. They want this peace and accord back in the family. And but they're checking out. It's a really dual-edged sword these kids are facing right now.
So Todd, you said that it knows no boundaries, no race, gender, economics. What is the common theme then? Is it stress for the world? Is it?
Yes, I think anxiety is the really driving force of a lot of these kids. They're anxious, a lot of pressure. I mean, pressure to perform, pressure in school, AP, this. I mean, these kids have such high standards. In my opinion, I'm much older than all you guys, but my day, we used to go outside and play. We played baseball. We'd be on the streets, or moms would yell from the front porch for dinner, and the lights were going on. It was so dark. And these kids don't have that. They live with constant fear. This world's changing. There's gun violence. There's all this stuff that's going on that they see on the TV. And yeah, it's creating levels of anxiety that we've never seen before.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, because the kids that are rich have a different kind of a stress. The kids that don't have wealth in their house have a different kind of stress, but it is always that stress, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. It's very stressful. You bet.
Todd, it also seems like you've got to find a way to educate the moms and dads in some way. So along those lines, does Waterford do any type of workshops for parents?
Well, funny you bring that up, Steve. Funny. This man sitting here to my left.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, this man here is graciously decided to come help us with some parenting workshops. Now, we offer a free parent workshop on Tuesday nights. It's 6:30 to 7:30. It is free. We talk about a lot of things with parents dealing with kids and drugs. Now, the judge here has this really wonderful program where he deals with relationships within the family systems with mom and dad and kids. And so these are the two things we're offering at Waterford up in Frisco. And again, it's free. They just have to show up and come on over to the office.
Now, Todd, as I understand, you have an 8-week program that goes into different aspects. Can you go into some of those things
Sure.
that you do offer?
Just a couple things that I would try to highlight. Number one, parents, I hear this a lot, that they feel like they're isolated, that they're alone, that they're the only family that's dealing with these issues. I've got the only kid at Reedy High School that's depressed and smoking weed. I'm the only one. Well, we know that's not true. And I'm not trying to judge Reedy or any of the schools in Frisco, but it's true the parents feel like they're isolated. And it's really nice to bring them together so they can talk and share stories and share commonality. And that's really important. We talk about teens using drugs. We talk about modern family systems. We talk about the legal and social consequences of use. And when it comes down to it, we help mom and dad with behavioral contracts. So kids fully understand what's right, what's wrong, and if they screw up, what the penalty is going to look like. Oftentimes it's an education class, or they get to come to treatment for 8 weeks. It's not very fun, but these kids walk away with a lot of knowledge.
So are the schools up in Collin County, are they being more receptive to programs like yours?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these teachers and administrators, they're dying for help. I mean, they're handcuffed. I mean, they can't drug test kids in the school. I mean, they have dogs that come through and sniff out cars and lockers, but they're being overwhelmed. I mean, the number of kids using on school campus is alarming, and they know it, and they're really struggling how to deal with it.
So as far as you know, are there any people or programs or organizations that go out to these schools and offer these students at risk any type of service programs, or kids who are involved in truancy more? Is anyone going out and helping them try to find their life again?
Yeah, there's a lot of programs like ours at Waterford Counseling. There's other programs up in Frisco that do offer volunteer work. I mean, there's programs that are very committed to helping the community. Mom and dad just have to search online and look for help. I mean, we're a great resource. You know, we have an 800 number. People call us. I oftentimes make referrals. Well, I've done 10 already in the last 2 days, different programs around DFW.
So because of your background and past, you're able to go, you know so many people here in North Texas. You can pretty much help them find counselor that could be
Yeah.
best for their individual
Absolutely.
needs.
Counseling, or even like with the hospital of Dallas Behavioral, they do free assessments. They take every insurance in the world. There's no reason if a kid's struggling, mom and dad can't pop down in the car and go see a nurse. So it's available for them.
So there you have it. All right. We're going to have Todd continue the conversation when we come back, and also through our social media on Facebook. We'll continue the conversation here at JP, Kathy, and the crew. Of course, don't forget today is election day here in Texas. So get out and go vote. I always wait for the day of, and so I will be voting myself today. We'll be back with traffic and weather and something for Kelly Foundation and the Morgan Foundation and Todd Orme. Jorm?
Or
Jerome?
it means snake or serpent in Norwegian.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
know
that. I've heard
Right.
that.
That'll be
Wow.
the next tattoo.
Okay, so we have addressed some pretty serious topics, and I know when we come back, I want to really try to give people a sense that there is help and hope out there. I got a text in, a good friend of mine, an attorney friend, whose daughter struggled with eating disorders and is struggling with addiction. The text reads, "Okay, the content is just too disturbing. My heart hurts listening to it, so I had to turn it off." And I'm going to get back in touch with them and tell them to get back on. So let's start now while we're on Facebook. What hope is there out there, Todd?
Well, let me tell you, I think knowledge is what drives hope for people. You know, when people sit in a vacuum, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm handcuffed. I'm overwhelmed.
Right.
They need to reach out to mental health professionals and say, what are my options? You know, speaking of attorneys, I had a story last year when an attorney called me about a 19-year-old kid. You know, these kids aren't dealing with a lot of solid frontal cortex, right? These kids make bad decisions till they're about 25. The brain's fully kicking in at 25. They can't think past tomorrow. But this 19-year-old kid drove to Colorado, and he decided he was going to buy all these edibles. He bought like 12 trays of brownies and gummy bears and suckers and all this candy with THC in it. Because why? He's going to come back and have a party and share with his friends and, you know, and be this really cool kid. So as he's driving over the border outside of Abilene, he's speeding and his windows are dark tinted. And what happens? He gets pulled over,
Oh, yeah.
right? Now, the funny thing about Texas is that what this kid didn't realize, and his parents probably people don't realize, that 1 pound of brownies is considered 1 pound of weed. So that's what he was charged with, was 12 pounds of weed just with the brownies and all the other stuff. This kid got arrested for multiple felonies, and he was facing some serious jail time. So I was able to help the attorney. We got the kid into treatment. We did some things that helped, you know, resolve this, plea bargains and all this stuff. This kid dodged some major bullets, and he learned a giant lesson about dealing with drugs. Is, you know, they hit him with a distribution charge. And his intent was not to distribute, but that's not how the DAs and the people look at it with these kids. Really, so when I come back down to it, it's education, it's knowledge. You know, like if 4 kids are in a car and they get pulled over and no one claims the baggie of weed, all 4 get arrested. All 4 go down with the same bag. It's not fair. You know, if you're on a date and your date's got it hidden under the seat and you don't know, all of a sudden you're both going to jail. So it's really, when it comes down to, it's knowledge. But what I call it, it's not a clinical term. I like to shine the flashlight on the problem. You know, we're going to look over every nook and cranny. We're going to look everywhere and figure out what the problem is and open up dialogues. That's what's great about cognitive therapy, you know, and treatment. It's, you know, you got the AA and A principles that help support family systems, but cognitive therapy gets people talking and coming to real terms. I mean, it's you know, communication is the key, right?
Absolutely. And when we come back, let's talk about CBT a little bit. You know, what specifically it is. You know, we'll have to be brief because we don't have a lot of time, but would love to go into why that could be a beacon of hope.
Yes.
For these kids, of course.
10 seconds.
No. Yeah, that's all there. The world of no.
Good morning. Welcome back to 1160 AM KBDT News, talk, sports. Don't miss Wayne Allen Root, raw and unfiltered, this afternoon from 5 until 8 p.m. It's currently 8:54 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs today with extra sauce. All that humidity out there. High of 68. Rain tonight, low of 55. It is currently 59 degrees and 8:54. We are here in the Mental Health Moment, brought to you by Something for Kelly Foundation and the Morgan Foundation and Acadia Healthcare. Love the fact that Acadia is our sponsor here at the Mental Health Moment. And we've got Todd Orme joining us with Waterford Counseling and also with Dallas Behavioral Health Network.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. So, I'm going to start us off. I know we want to talk about swinging into, treatment options and success. And by the way, let me just say this as a blanket statement. When I was on the bench and hearing these cases, these kids that are doing drugs and having struggles and having problems, the intervention works. The follow through, as long as the parents will stay on board and stay consistent, it works. It's a lot of work to get it back, but once you're back, it's really, really good. And my success rate with it was over 98%, and getting kids back off drugs, back home, and back in school and graduating. So there's tons of hope, tons of success. And so I don't want you to turn your back and go, I just can't handle it. I got to, tune out. Don't tune out, because that means you're not getting the information. And the information is important. So tune in so you can pass that information on. Quick comment, though, from one of the parents that have a couple kids in school. And she says, my kid gets tired and beaten down from always having to say no, because she's so, approached by kids wanting to give her drugs.
It happens a lot. The availability of drugs in our school is scary. As I talk to the counselors at Plano Senior and up in Frisco, the availability is beyond our comprehension. I mean, it's there. These drug dealers, they target these schools because the kids have money. If you didn't know, there were 3 kids who passed away about 2 weeks ago up in Plano. They got in a car wreck, and they were all really, really intoxicated with all kinds of drugs. They were driving 126 miles an hour down Exchange Parkway and went and crashed and hit 2 trees and obliterated the car and killed these poor young men. That's the tragedy that we're facing right now with this stuff, is that education, I still think, is really the key. I can attest to what Judge is saying. I mean, I think the strength of what he did on the bench was accountability, and honesty, and really bringing kids to the forefront and making kids accountable, because at some point, these kids have to own their decisions. They have to say, yeah, I made that decision. So here's the accountability. Steve and I talked about cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what it sort of is all about. It's solution focused. It's the ability to think through processes and know that there's right and wrong. I mean, we joke about it from Sunday school, the golden rule, but when it comes down to it, we are trained to know what's right and wrong. And sometimes these kids are making conscious decisions not to do right. And so that's what we're dealing with.
Todd, it sounds like what I've heard from you is that, of course, moms and dads shouldn't blame themselves for
No,
this,
not at all.
but they could be an incredible beacon of hope if they educate themselves, if they keep their eyes open, and if they stay, a strong presence for their kids, of course. Is that, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I hear this a lot. Like, mom and dad are like, they're going to lay down the behavioral contract. They're going to take away the phone, because these kids communicate through Snapchat, right? So they take the phone away, thinking, okay, I'm the hardcore parent. I'm taking the phone away. I'm being strict. Well, what mom and dad don't realize, these kids go to their friends, go to the parents' old phone drawer, pull out the old phone, get a new SIM card, and hit the VPN, and now they're back on Snapchat with a hidden phone. Mom and dad don't know. Or they borrow the kid's phone to the cafeteria and check Snapchat, and they're hiding their Snapchat. So diligence is really, again, shining the flashlight and open up the dialogue with these kids.
Well, and one of the solutions to some of that, because that's, good things we talk about in parenting, is take those phones to work.
Yeah.
Where the kids don't come to your job, or hide them in the trunk of your car.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids don't know where they're at. Don't leave them in the house.
Right.
Take them out of the house.
Yep.
Or if you have a safe, put them in a safe and lock down the safe. So some good parenting solutions that you can have answers to those kids sneaking around. Prescription medications. Throw them away when you're done with them. Don't keep them around, or take them to work with you.
Or take your prescriptions and take them to a drop-off spot, to like Walgreens or one of these these stores that will take the old scripts and destroy them.
But don't leave medication just hanging around. And if you take, narcotics currently and you have kids, you need to pack those up and take them in your purse with you when you go. Again, easy parenting solutions.
You talk to grandma and grandpa too.
Right. Yeah. Don't let them.
That's another source of
When your kids start
medicine.
saying, I really like going to grandma and grandpa's. Since when? Since I turned 15.
Yeah. Since the pills start missing.
Yeah. Things that make you go, Exactly. All right. Thank you, Steve Dunn. Thank you, Patty. And thank you, Todd. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, Judge.
Very good job. Thank you.
And there you go. Any questions from Facebook? Any preguntas?
And in fact, this is going to tie in very nicely with
90% of parenting.
Yep.
Wow. With our next week's guest, we're going to have a counselor and a nurse on from Bishop Lynch High School.
Oh, who's the counselor?
Oh, are they coming?
Yep, they're going to be in the studio.
Raquel McKinney?
Yes, exactly.
I know Raquel.
Raquel and Patty Barton are going to be in studio next week. So when you see her today. In fact, I reached out to her on email today, and we're going to say you did a great job, and this is just going to transition so well.
I'm not.
You're not what?
I'm going to say you did a good job.
Aggressive.
on.
Very,
I'm
very,
being aggressive.
John,
very.
say he did a good job.
Okay, you did a fine job.
There you go.
Fine. Just not great. Fine. You know when a woman uses the word fine?
You did
it's
a
not good.
stupendous.
It's not good. If I'm fine and she's not fine.
Oh,
I had a
there you
fine
go.
time.
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
I'm fine.
I'm
John.
fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
And
Yeah,
a few
you're not
last things.
fine.
Tonight between 6 and 8 p.m. at the Dallas Country Club, the Lisa Project, down known as the Texas Eating Disorder Association, is having their annual event emphasizing sports and eating disorders. Their chairman tonight is Daryl Moose Johnston, and they're going to have a few other people who've been involved in sports talking tonight.
You getting me a autograph?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to have him sign it right on my arm, I believe.
No.
your
You're
chest.
supposed to get me a football and have him sign my football.
I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, you need to.
I'll see what I can do.
You better get busy.
And the first announcement on air of the Something for Kelly Foundation. They're having a huge event on May 21st. Patty, do you want to briefly go into that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. We are really excited about this. We are having as our guest speaker Dr. Cynthia Bulick, who has been on this show before and has spoken at our event last year. We have a major announcement about her newest scientific initiative, which we will be discussing, as well as some additional announcements as the times progress along. So thank you for that opportunity. As a shout out, I will be sharing more.
All right, there we go. So always stay tuned. Big Tuesday next Tuesday. So thank you, Todd. Thank you, Waterford Counseling and Dallas Behavioral Health Network.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Todd.
Everybody have a blessed day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we are.